Welcome back to Real Life in Real Estate with my special guest for week 2. It's Zach Hyre from the Z&T Agency. We were just talking about the Buckeyes.
That's right.
OH. That's right. We're both Buckeyes, and don't hold that against us, but we did just win a national championship.
Let's go.
How awesome was that? So, Zach, before we get into today's conversation, continuing on social media, I'm excited to talk content, and I've got a couple of other things I might throw out. I might throw one of the early things out just to get it out of the way. Yeah. But I want to know about the Blueprint podcast.
Oh, the Blueprint
Talk
podcast.
to me about it. I was a guest.
The first guest on the Blueprint podcast.
Which is pretty awesome. It was great. You and Spencer Maxwell. Spencer is actually an agent with our company, with NavX Realty, and he's awesome too. But talk to me about what you guys do on the podcast.
Yeah, so essentially we wanted to start a podcast for a couple different reasons. One, very relating to our conversation today on content. Right?
Yep.
I think that that's one of the best ways that you can gain good quality content. So we wanted to create it for that. And two, so that way we could just surround ourselves with guests that knew way more than us. And
How did I get on your show?
Because you know way more than us.
Oh, wow, that's weird. That's just years of experience, life experience,
that's what
right?
It's all about. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
And we just love talking business.
Yep.
It's so much fun.
Yep.
I love it.
It's a great podcast. I highly recommend it. I'm a subscriber. So just like Real Life in Real Estate, you should be subscribed to this podcast on your phone, on wherever you get your podcasts. I use Apple Podcasts, but also the Blueprint podcast. It's got a picture of Zach's pretty face with Spencer on there. I'm not going to say Spencer's pretty, but if he's listening to this, he's going to be okay with me saying that. But no, but go out, look for that podcast, and definitely subscribe to it. They talk a lot of great business topics. I love you guys. They're so energetic, and they bring a lot of life to every podcast you guys do. So
that's much appreciated.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Well, okay. So today I want to talk about content. Yeah. And the importance of content and the type of content, like what kind of content agents should be doing. But first, I want to get this out of the way. Last time we talked about, I think it was TikTok, great for exposure. Instagram, great to nurture, to build community with your audience. Facebook is the 2-for-1. If you're posting on Instagram, you're going to get it over to Facebook. And then I think we've had some offline conversation about there is some benefit age-wise to the population that is on Facebook. So there's some benefit there. I'm not going to get into X. I'm not going to get into LinkedIn, but I do want to know your thoughts on YouTube. Like I consider YouTube like a social. A lot of people are on there doing the YouTube shorts,
100%.
But what's your opinion on YouTube? Should we be doing anything as agents on YouTube?
So I think YouTube is a fantastic platform. It is just extremely hard to grow.
Okay.
Very hard to grow. But if you do, it is probably the platform that you can monetize the best.
Okay.
You can make a lot of money if you have a good subscriber list on YouTube.
Okay.
It's just extremely hard to grow.
Okay.
So
good to know.
For us, we recommend starting, not that Instagram, Facebook, TikTok's the basics, but kind of like there. And then you can, if you build a following there, you can kind of help drive traffic as you go to your YouTube
Right,
channel.
because I think last time we talked about how you can actually link your YouTube channel to your TikTok account, right?
Correct.
And so we actually have an agent in our company. Her name's Lydia Rowe. So look up Lydia Rowe, NavX Realty. She does amazing YouTube content, and she did a class for us, and I'll probably have her on this show sometime just to talk about it. But she has been incredibly consistent to build a following. And now she gets business from it. People Google like real estate Tip City, Ohio, and Lydia's the one that comes up because of her consistency on YouTube. So I was curious, though, what your thoughts were as a social media guy.
Yeah, 100%. So that's kind of where I'm at on YouTube. But the point that you made about consistency, man, that is the driving force of everything.
And so that's across the board.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're going to do social media,
you have to
or
do
any
it right.
marketing, I really say any marketing.
I agree.
And I've got a whole I've got a whole marketing framework that this is part of kind of rolling out our marketing framework as a company. But I have a marketing framework that if you follow these steps, you'll blow your business up, right? And social media is the piece of it that 10, 15 years ago, we really weren't focused on social media. We were focused on all of the other mediums. Now, today, I think social media is such a great opportunity to continue to build your brand and be in front of people that you wouldn't otherwise be in front of, right?
100%.
And so, okay, let's talk about actual content. How many times a week should I be posting content? And then what's the mix of the types of content? So when I think of types of content, of course, we got video. We have photos, right? Or, this is like you snapped a photo when you got in the studio, right?
Yeah.
So we got photos. How are we using those?
Yeah.
Do we do any text anymore? Like, what's the content?
Yeah. So I think that first, let me answer the question of how many times, right? I think that that's going to be dependent upon what is your end goal. What do you want to do? And I think that if you are just wanting, as a real estate agent specifically, if you just want to let people know, hey, I'm alive, I sell real estate, minimum 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
In terms of if you're like, hey, I really want to grow, build a personal brand, make this a stream, just like you were talking about,
right,
of lead generation, lead flow, we need to be posting every single day.
Okay.
So let me kind of, and I have an example. So I finally got to the point to where I'm like, I need to practice what I preach, and I see the direction that things are going. I need to go all in on the personal brand, start this process. So,
right. Because starting the year this year, I have seen videos every day from you.
every single day.
And guess where I've seen them?
Where?
Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know, and now I know you're not posting those on Facebook.
No, I never even get on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. So I post them on Instagram. But I made the goal and here's a caveat. I did not post very often prior to this. But at the beginning of this year, I said, you know what? I see where this is going. I've been putting it off for 2 years. It's the last thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun, but it's a necessity to get to where you want to go. So I made the commitment. I said, I'm going to post every single day for like 100 days straight.
Wow.
And so I just pulled analytics from the past 2 weeks. And this is Instagram specifically. And then I have my account as a business account, so I can see these analytics, right? So in terms of accounts reached, I am up 18,000%.
Whoa.
18,000%.
And accounts reached is like other Instagram subscribers that you've reached?
Yeah. Of just other accounts that people are seeing it on their feed.
Wow,
Yeah.
18,000. That's
18,000.
awesome.
And then accounts engaged. So not only did they see it, but they engaged, up 12,800%.
Wow, that is incredible.
So that is the power of just being consistent.
That wasn't 18,000 accounts. That was up 18,000%. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, 18,000%.
Okay, so if you really want to make a go at this, commit to every day. It's almost like we need a 100-day challenge ourselves as agents. Post every day. So walk me through, what am I posting? Obviously, I've seen a lot of posts, a lot of video posts from you recently talking about your business, what you guys do, or a day in the life. I've seen some day in the life stuff, like we've been putting these deals together. We spent all morning on the phone. See, I actually paid attention to your content.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm an agent. I want to post 100 days straight. What am I posting?
So I think that it's going to come down to assessing, and the thing is, you have to be this is almost another business that you're building, to be honest. To do it correctly and to put in the time and effort, it's almost another business that you're building. So what do you post? I think first thing before you start that 100 days or whatever, you need to get very needled on who is my target customer, client, etc.
Right.
I need to know the demographic of who I'm trying to reach. Then I need to almost reverse engineer and say, hey, what is the type of content that would resonate with those people?
Okay.
That would provide value to those people. And here's, I don't want to call anybody out, but something that I see a lot of real estate agents do is graphic heavy design of just listed, pending, sold.
Right.
So I'm sorry. No, people are scrolling.
Okay.
People are scrolling. It's okay to maybe throw that in a little bit to just because it does create some validation that, hey, I'm actually transacting business.
Right.
People know that. But if that is what your entire feed is, you're never going to grow because it's really not providing value to those people.
Okay.
So I think that you need to look at what type of content provides value to your said demographic. And then everything is, and I don't want to say everything, it's a 85% video content.
Okay.
It is so much more engaging.
85% video.
I would say, and I mean, take that and apply it how you think is fit. But I would say the vast majority of your content that you're actually posting on Reels and TikToks, TikTok is predominantly video, right? Same with Reels. I think that you really need to be posting that. And then you can post, your stagnant posts or your carousels with the multiple photos of, maybe you with some clients or you and your family or vacations, etc. You can mix that stuff in, or the just listed or closed or whatever.
Okay, so I'm posting every day of the week. I'm posting 85% videos, and I'm going to mix in the carousels. How many of my posts should be providing a value in terms of the business that I do versus, hey, this is my personal life. This is what I do. This is my family. I coach girls basketball. Like how much should be that stuff?
So I think it kind of depends. If you could look at it from a perspective of if you're posting 7 days a week, maybe 5 days a week, you're posting business stuff, and 2 days a week, it's maybe some personal. But I think that where you can really kind of dig in is your actual posts are more of your business stuff, and your stories are more of your personal stuff.
Okay, now let's stop right there. Why in the heck do I do stories? I mean, hopefully this resonates with some of you out there, and I've heard all of this before, but I've got to hear it again because that story is there, and then I created that content, and it is gone forever.
Yeah. So I think the stuff that you really put the time into of providing value, etc., needs to be your actual post. Because stories, like you said, disappears after 24 hours. I think stories can be a lot more of the informal, behind the curtains, raw and authentic you.
Okay.
Right? So, for example, I'm on the way here and I just posted a story. It is like 47 degrees outside. Feels like 90. If you're from Ohio,
That's right.
Great day, sun shining.
Actually, if you're from New Orleans, you would say it feels like 90 because they had 8 inches of snow last week.
Crazy.
No, but anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So it can be super informal, personal, all that kind of stuff. You're more of like where you're actually digging in, you're doing the research, you're planning it out. That type of content, don't post that on your story. Post that in an actual post that sticks.
Okay.
Because what I like to call it is evergreen content, right? So if, for example, a real estate agent, if there's something, a piece or a nugget or a tip and trick that that is always going to be applicable, make a video about it, post it, and then people can continuously go back and see that content.
Right. They can click on my reels as an example and see all of the reels that I've done with all that valuable content.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, but then again, answer why stories? What do stories do for my marketing?
Well, I think one, it's the algorithm, right? Because that plays a role. And two, a lot of people just love engaging with stories. It's a lot easier to just engage. You can, and this is why Instagram stories are so much better than TikTok, because it's so easy to interact and engage. I mean, you can, throw up a thumbs up, like the story. You can slide up so easily and just type back of like, oh, dude, that's awesome. I love it.
Okay.
It's so much easier for engagement. For your audience to engage with you, but then you to engage back with them.
Okay.
And for example, I know my wife, Tawny, she literally rarely scrolls through her Instagram feed. She's just going through the stories.
Okay.
Because it's just the personal of like, oh,
Right.
I love to see what's going on. Like it's relatable. And I think here's one thing that if you decide to create content, you have to be your true authentic self.
Okay.
Because if you are doing it to get famous or make money, people read right through it.
Yeah.
So you need to just be your true authentic self.
Okay.
I think that's a huge piece in creating content.
Okay. So now, just so that I'm very clear, if I'm creating videos, like let's just say I'm doing a 100-day challenge, right? Should I be posting video and stories every day, or do you do alternate? How do you do it?
No, absolutely. You need to be posting videos and stories every single day.
Do you do multiple stories a day?
I do multiple stories every day.
Okay.
Multiple. So, I mean, there's times where I'll throw up 10, 15 stories in a day, right?
Okay.
And don't overthink it. It can be super simple. Like the amount of things that so for example, I follow a lot of these very affluent businessmen and women. They are creating content. So I will see their stuff and I'll literally just share it on my story. I'll share the reel. So it doesn't necessarily have to be me, always me in it. It can just be a multitude of things.
So yeah, you're actually sharing some value in your story with something else. So tell me what are you using to create your stories to make it really fast and simple? I mean, I see people that have stories that have a lot more text on them and they're pointing stuff out, putting arrows, whatever, you know, there's just a lot more action happening on their stories. Like what app or apps do you recommend if someone says, okay, I'm going to go all in on making my stories or even my videos that I want to simply upload? What do we use?
So personally, I think just native to the app. So if I'm in Instagram, I'm literally throwing up the Instagram app and I'm recording. So for example, my story on the way, right? I went into stories on Instagram, hit record, just started talking. And I think that people, it's kind of moving away from the like super produced, like high quality, all this stuff. And more people just want to see the authenticity and like authentic you.
Okay.
So just like we're sitting here having a conversation, like it's almost like you're on FaceTime, right?
Yep. Right.
You're sitting there talking to them like you're on FaceTime, talking like we're just buddies. You know, people love that.
Okay.
So
awesome.
I think that to answer your question directly, there's not third-party apps. I think just native to the TikTok app, native to the Instagram app for stories specifically.
And that actually makes me think too. Oftentimes when I'm like flipping through reels, it'll show the reel, and then at the end you get the little TikTok, you know. So do you take your TikTok videos and share them on Instagram somehow? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So I record a lot of videos in TikTok.
Okay.
And so if I think if you're posting content among multiple different platforms, having a watermark from a different platform, not a good look.
Okay.
I don't think that's a good look at all. So there are ways, like for example, I'll record in TikTok. And then I will essentially like save the video, post and save the video without watermark. And it would like save it to my drafts. And then it will save the video to my camera roll.
Oh, that's great.
Without the watermark.
Okay.
And then what do? I just go to Instagram. I just
pop it on Instagram.
I hit
okay.
Upload. Yeah.
Awesome. Man, there's so many things floating through my head. Now, I want to get our agents. I want to get, all the listeners of the show. I want to get you using social media in such a way that it's going to drive business. And so that's really the point of this. And I know it sounds like there's probably people out there that are going to watch this and listen to this. They're going to be like, Mark sounds like he really doesn't know anything. And I really want to start at an elementary level. And honestly, I feel like I'm learning a ton as we've talked. And so I don't know what else, anything else that you feel like I'm missing in terms of social media we haven't covered that is important for the audience to know?
I don't think necessarily, and especially if you're just starting off, I don't think that it's, don't get bogged down in the weeds, right? I think the thing that drives business is the action, is the consistency. Because essentially what I'm doing, and when you start with anything, and I believe this to the core of my being, there's a season of suck. When you start something, you are not going to be very good at it.
Right.
And so many people get in that season of suck and, oh man, I'm posting content. It's cringy. I'm getting people making fun of me, this, that, and the other. Like, it's not very good. So what do? I stop. And I think those that achieve press through.
Yep.
And because there comes a day where you've done the reps, now I'm not that bad anymore.
Yeah,
right?
So I teach a lot of real estate education, and I've talked about on this show before, like the importance of video. I've done a ton of video in my career. In fact, when I was in high school, I said I was going to be the next Peter Jennings. You're way too young. Like, I wanted to be in broadcasting, and so this kind of stuff, being on video, this is very comfortable for me. It always has been. It's something that I thrive at, but I realize not everybody does. However, when I listen back to myself, like I'll listen to this podcast back, probably take some notes next time, and I'll cringe because I don't like to hear my voice. If I watch the video, I'll hate seeing my face, right? All of us have that naturally. And the thing is like, not everybody has this face to work with. They have this kind of face to work with. But I always say, you just have to get over it.
You have to.
And I'll say, if we were to go through my camera roll right now, we go back 10 years, I bet we could find 1,000 videos at least that I never did anything with because I would cringe. What I've learned now, and you can't see it behind the cameras here, but I've got Sarah in the room. She's our content creator for NavX Realty and Real Life and Real Estate. I've got Natalie in the room. She's our director of marketing. And you know what? We record this stuff and they push it out. I don't even think about it. So I don't have the chance to listen back and be like, wow, I really sounded dumb there, right? But that's honestly whatever it takes for consistency, even if it's hiring someone like the Z&T agency. Now, I know you guys do have some limitation because you only work with one. Do you limit it in terms of the real estate agency you work with? Do you only work with one in each category?
Yeah, just so it's not really a conflict of interest.
Right. And I think that's great. So you might not be able to work with Z&T agency, but if you are going to be, if you're building some kind of business or own another kind of business, for sure, Z&T agency is probably someone you need to talk to. And you should be listening to the Blueprint podcast.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Season 2 just started. I'm excited about season 2. But listen, amazing amount of information over these last 2 episodes that you've given us. And I really appreciate you just opening your mind and sharing all of this with us. Because really, truly, I think this can really help agents. I know I've taken enough out of this that I'm like, I need to do a 100-day challenge. So now I feel a little bit compelled that I'm about to start the 100-day challenge. So that said, I challenge you to put these things into practice. We always say real life and real estate. I want to help you live your best life and achieve ultimate success. And while business is not, it's not all about your business, I do believe that having a successful business and putting some of these things into action can help you be better in business, close more business, and ultimately that's going to help fund your best life. And so that's what we wanted to do. Zach, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's a blast.
Awesome.
I love the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, maybe I'll make it back by the Blueprint podcast one of these days. And thank you so much. And thank you for listening today. We look forward to seeing you next week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.